Hello there, welcome back. This is Sheepishly here once again, and today I've got another quick one for you guys. I've ran 60 Abomination maps doing tier 17 boss rushing, followed up by another 45 maps of boss rushing on Ziggurat. Now, before I jump into the setup as well as the results, let me just quickly queue up a footage of the run, and I will talk you through the strategy of boss rushing. Okay, just jumping into an example map. There's not much to say for this one really. All you're doing is kind of dashing around through the map, trying to navigate the map layout as best as you can, and picking up shrines along the way, of course. All you're trying to do is trying to find where the boss room is really quickly. I did get a little bit confused here, but yeah, for Abominations tend to, if you just hug the wall, you will find it eventually. Now, Abominations are a good map to do because the Mortal Fragment drops are quite nice. There is the Reality Fragment, which is something like 0.8 divines. And the boss is fairly straightforward. You don't have something like Citadel reducing action speed. That's quite annoying to do. As you can see, we've found the boss within about 40 seconds in the map, and since there's no damage mods, we go through the bosses fairly quickly. I think we wrap up the whole fight within a minute of our time. You can see the counter in the bottom right. There you go. And let's see what we get. Maybe... Okay, so no Reality Fragment, which is now great, but Devouring Fragment also goes for something like 0.7 divines, so hey, it's a profitable map overall. Now, just to go through the Atlas tree quickly, the most important thing is to grab all the map explicit modifier nodes, which is all of these small nodes here, this little wheel here, as well as this little wheel down over there. The rest of it can realistically be anything. Definitely recommend for these quantity nodes as well as the quantity and rarity nodes just to boost the fragment drop chance a little bit more. I took some shrines, which is not really essential. It's nice if it's along the way you pick them up, maybe cut down the time of fighting the boss by something like 10 seconds. That's quite nice. I did take all the drop chances for final map bosses. I haven't counted this in the profit because these maps are not really worth a lot at the moment. But you do get Guardian map drops sometimes, which is quite nice. We're also taking these two small nodes here to boost the chance of dropping tier 16.5 maps, and alongside it, all of the map drop chances along the tree here. In terms of Scarabs, we are taking Remarkable Relics as well as Cheating Champions, as well as some Scarab drop chances along the tree, just in case if we happen to drop some nice Scarabs. I'm not going to say no to that. We're doing a little bit of blocking action down here as well. Lastly, and this is completely optional by the way, I took Dance of Destruction. And this is really just to counter those crazy 2-3 tank mod maps and you spend like a minute fighting the boss. This node is going to cut down those fighting times by at least 20-30%. Just a little something extra to help with the efficiency of the farm. Coming over to the stash tab, I have got 60 Abomination maps, all chiseled up to 20% quality, looking for more than 100% item quantity. It's the only criteria here. Some of these are corrupted. I did buy them pretty cheap, but for the corrupted maps, I also filtered for more than 100% item quantity. The corrupted ones are a little bit cheaper compared to the uncorrupted ones. In terms of Scarab, we're now going to be using Scarabs. What we will be doing is using each of the Sacrifice Fragments, Dusk, Noon, Midnight, and Dawn. Each of these will give 5% increased item quantity to the map, as well as one Mortal Grief, so these ones are a little bit more expensive, and these gives about a 10% increase to your item quantity. Okay, I think that's all to it. I will dump my gold, so we have a track of how much gold we get from this farm. And I'll talk to you guys when we're done. Alright, we are done with all 60 maps. You can see the stash has been cleared out. We dropped 2 gloves, which is Malachite's Mark. These go for about 30 chaos each. We dropped a Heat Shiver, which doesn't go for much nowadays, about 5 chaos. So we are going to try and corrupt it into something nice. Nope, that's just 5C. We dropped a quality 29 Enzymite Staff, which is apparently 80 chaos to 1 divine, so maybe 100C. And then we dropped an Aegis Aurora with pretty low rolls, so maybe just 20 chaos. We did also drop 1 divine and 1 Ultimatum Scarab of Catalyzing as well. Now don't worry, these drops will not go into the actual profit calculation. And that is because the only thing we're going to count towards profit is the boss fragments. So I did clear out this tab beforehand, so all of these boss fragments came from these 60 runs. Okay, and in terms of the profits, let's take a look at this Google Sheet here. On the left, we have the revenue from fragment drops. You can see that the best moneymaker, of course, is reality fragments. We got 22 of these, selling for about 91 chaos each, so roughly a revenue of 2,000 chaos. Now, this sounds very good, but this is actually quite unlucky. If we have a look at the drop rates, there's 22 reality fragments compared to 28 for blazing, 34 for synthesizing, and then 26 for traumatic. You can see that we got quite unlucky on the reality fragment drops. Now, these ones are all meant to have the same drop chance, which is my understanding at least. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So what this means is that across all the fragments, we've made 3.5 thousand chaos, or roughly 32 divines. Now, 32 divines in revenue sounds pretty good until you start to consider the cost side of things. Now, for each of the 60 Abomination maps, we're paid roughly 30 chaos each, and of course we're juicing that with Sac Fragments. Now, these are not worth too much, but they still add up over time. Altogether, we spent around 2,000 chaos, or roughly 18 divines, as the cost of running this strategy, which means that we've only made back 14 divines. And if you factor in how long it took us to run the strategy, which is roughly 1.5 hours, we still make a very profitable 9.1 divines per hour, which is very respectable, but nothing too fancy either. Now, in terms of gold, we did make 400,000 gold throughout the 60 runs, which is quite good. It's actually above expectations, to be honest with you, considering that I am only killing mobs on my way to the boss, and I am skipping the rest of the map afterwards. Okay, I just had to go and test it out. I did another 45 maps of tier 17 boss rushing, but this time on Ziggurat because of the better boss fragments. Ziggurat drops reality as well as devouring fragments. So the results are a little bit better this time around. Let's head over to our trusty spreadsheet. As you can see, over these 45 maps, we got 23 reality fragments as well as 20 devouring, which forms the majority of our 4.7 thousand chaos revenue, or roughly 42 divines. Now, the cost has gone up a little bit as well. Ziggurat is a little bit more expensive. I bought 45 maps for 35 chaos each, which roughly translates to something like 15 to 16 divines. Now, as you can see, the profit is quite good. It's 3,000 chaos, or roughly 27 divines, which is really good. But it took us a little bit longer to finish these maps, 2 hours in total, which means that we generated a profit of roughly 13 divines each. Again, you can probably do these maps a little bit faster. My character definitely isn't cut out to do the Ziggurat boss. The degen ground really hurts. Sometimes I take multiple portals, which definitely slowed me down. So if prices stay the way they are, I wouldn't be surprised if you can do something like 16, 17 divines an hour, rushing Ziggurat bosses. One thing I will say though, these 35 chaos maps are a little bit cheaper in the market, and that's because I'm buying these corrupted. And corrupted tier 17s definitely go for quite a bit lower compared to their uncorrupted counterparts. For boss rushing though, we don't really care about the quantity that much, more is always better. But I think cheaper maps definitely works out better in the long run for your profit margin. Well, that's it. That's the result of the tier 17 boss rush strategy for both Abomination as well as the Ziggurat maps. Please like and subscribe if you find my content useful. And before I go, just want to show you guys how easy it is to liquidate all of these uber boss fragments on Faustus. Here's all the fragments we got from the 45 Ziggurat maps. There you go, completely sold. Simple as that. Well, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.